We just got back from Spain.
We did.
We just visited the Andalusian region. So we just got back from the Andalusian region of Spain, specifically Seville, Málaga, Granada, Córdoba, and a special stop in Gibraltar. And we are THK Travel, and we're going to do a trip wrap-up.
Wrap it up.
We got to Spain on Saturday, April 4th. It was Holy Saturday. And what were your first thoughts of Spain?
Well, I mean, it was a long travel day, so travel days are always hard to get your first impressions of a place, I think. I think also me, and I think my travel ADHD, I don't know if I have it all the time, but definitely during travel and going new places, I'm always looking at everything. I'm a squirrel, dog with the squirrel kind of thing. So, just being in a new airport, hadn't ever been in the Madrid airport before. Not that it's any different than any other airport that I noticed. So I think it's just getting your bearings after a very long, I'm trying to remember how long
12 hours.
Is it 12 hours from Dallas to Madrid?
Yeah. I agree. It's hard to be like, oh, these are my first impressions of Spain, because I don't think we can truly answer that until we arrive in Seville.
Right.
Because that whole morning into the afternoon was just travel.
Right.
So airport. It was an airport. We were able to find an ATM. We were able to get into a taxi easily. We were able to get to the correct train station, and we were able to buy the tickets we wanted to buy. There were no mishaps.
Yes, and I would even say back up even very beginning, like people who travel or who have never traveled over to a different country, that whole process of going through the international section, doing your passport, all that's pretty straightforward. There were no mishaps there either. You just have to really pay attention and be aware what line you're getting into. And I don't think that wait was terribly long.
No.
So I don't know if that's seasonal.
That's good. A good first impression.
Yeah. So I think it was pretty easy if you're paying attention. But you do have to pay attention.
What would you say, what exceeded your This was a trip that we've been planning for like a little over a year, and it was something you've always wanted to do, and now we did it. What exceeded your expectations of the overall trip?
I think the execution and the planning, I mean, I owe that to my travel advisor. So, I have the benefit of that. You are the planner in the group. Having it be a bucket list item that I've really wanted to do forever. I can't tell you what the source of that was. It just was something I've always wanted to do and always imagined being there. And I think in essence, all of it exceeded my expectations. It's one thing to look at it
That's good.
From a historical point of view, or look at travel videos and other people's experiences, but you always think in the back of your head, oh, it's not going to be exactly like that when I get there. And I would say it's definitely fulfilled, if not exceeded, what I thought it was going to be. And I think that's because where we stayed, the places we stayed, highly curated by you as far as making sure we're in the middle of everything, so that you by default have to explore your way in the city of all the different places we were. That just adds to that that layer of being there, being immersed in the place. So
I would say for me, I had no expectations because this really wasn't my trip. So my focus was on Tavia and on the things that she would want to explore. And for me, in the entire trip, that day we drove from Granada to Córdoba, that, where we just kind of went off the beaten path, we went and explored some things. We saw the abandoned cement factory with all that graffiti art. We found the fortress of La Mota, like that. That's probably my highlight from the trip. That went beyond my expectations. Obviously, the Alhambra is the huge draw, in the mosque cathedral. But I don't know, that drive to Córdoba. Also, the food tour in Seville, that exceeded my expectations. We did have planned tours scheduled, so I thought I'd give a shout out to that. That tour definitely exceeded my expectations. That was a really good guide.
I would agree with that. I think we started out with a bang. I think the things that we did in Seville were very memorable, not only because it was our first city, but the food tour was memorable, the tour guide was memorable for that, and for the tour guide for our Cathedral and Alcazar tour was really fantastic.
Oh, yes, absolutely. What didn't quite live up to the hype of the trip?
Honestly, I don't really think I had anything that didn't live up to it.
That's good.
If anything, everything really did exceed it. And I would agree to renting the car and actually driving and going to different places, getting to places we wouldn't be able to go to.
That didn't live up to the hype?
No. Oh. I'm just saying that there wasn't anything that did not live up to the hype. In my opinion.
I think if I had to pick something that didn't live up to the hype, it was kind of that Malaga food tour. It was fine. It was a fine tour, and I do mention in the video is that you can't do a food tour in one city and assume you've experienced it in all the cities because they're all so very different. The cuisine in Seville is quite different from Malaga, from Granada to Córdoba. It's all quite different. But the Malaga food tour had a hard, baseline to live up to because Seville was so great, and it was such a great crowd, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I didn't really love the cuisine of Malaga, or I didn't really love the wines. I'm not really sure, but it was a good tour. I would recommend it. But if I had to pick something, climbing the Giralda Tower.
For you, yeah, you didn't.
I didn't really get the hype of that.
Right. It seemed like that was a must do if you go there. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily a must do. I mean, it can get a little.
I want to go up 35, floors.
Now, if they didn't have the wire, the netting around it, But even then, it still isn't a very grand view of anything.
It's not like getting to the top of Notre Dame.
Obvious. Yeah, no. For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
I think we were just hearing the bells from the Giralda was definitely better than walking up all those stairs.
And there is no shortage of high up viewpoints. Right. In all of southern Spain, because you visit so many Alcazabas and things like that. Sure. So,
and I think the time spent going up there, there's so much more to see in the cathedral.
Yeah.
That I think is more worth the time than walking up the rampart all the way up.
Yes.
I agree.
Was there anything that was from the trip that was like a surprise, either good or bad? Did anything surprise you on this trip? Either moment of joy or moment of...
I just was thinking right now, it's like so much smoke. Smokers.
Oh my God, everybody smokes and has a dog.
Yeah. I think my brain went back to the 70s or something, like where people
everybody
in the U.S., smoked. My grandparents smoked. So it's like that was... There was a lot of smoke.
There's a lot of smoking,
but,
for sure.
I think really getting better understanding of timings of things, of when people go out, that whole, you eat your tapas between 2 and 4 and it shuts down. Yeah. And then again, everything wakes back up about 8 o'clock. 8:30.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever really got into that mode because we're just not late night eaters. It's not, you're not a huge eater anyways either, but I don't think we ever got into that rhythm. I think we stayed up a little bit later than we did, but as far as doing that, no, we didn't.
Not really. We did and we didn't. So those are our first impressions overall from our trip. Okay, so we're gonna go through, each city and give our quick answer of what was the best thing about it, what would you have changed? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sevilla.
Best thing was the tour, the cathedral and the Alcazar tour. I really liked. It was long and in depth, and I really enjoyed our tour guide. He was very, local, gave a lot of good historical feedback. One thing I would change, I'd love to have gone on our own to do more tapas and get some nun cookies.
Oh, we did not get nun cookies. I think the best thing was that we were able to be there at the time of the year we were, to be able to witness Semana Santa. That I think was, it's tied. It's like that or the food tour or the hammam, the ancient baths.
Yeah.
So it's like this kind of three-way tie. The thing I would have changed is I had rented a car from the airport and had that, because we didn't need a car in Sevilla, so I got it on our last day on our way to Gibraltar, and I would have rented it from the train station, which I could have done. And that would have saved us maybe like a $30 Uber. So that's the one thing I would have changed. And that was a planning thing. And next stop is Gibraltar.
Best thing about Gibraltar, well, number one, walking across the runway. I love that. It was great. But the actual adventure of doing the e-bike, I think that was a really great thing. And then thing I would change is, I know the weather kind of hampered us a bit, but I would have liked to have gone all the way to the top just to see. I think we ran out of time too, so. But I think the weather prevented us from doing a little bit more with that. But.
I agree. I think the best thing about Gibraltar was that e-bike experience. We had a little miscommunication on my part, and the owner of the shop was super awesome. I'll leave a link to his shop below, and it was just a really fun experience. Even if it was just kind of a little rainy out, it was still really fun. And the one thing I would change, like, again, I can't change the weather. I would maybe change the hotel. We stayed across the border, and that allowed us to have that crossing the runway experience. But maybe staying in Gibraltar the one night would have been cool.
Oh yeah, because we were thinking of staying on that ship.
We're going to stay in that
hotel
yacht,
ship.
Yacht hotel. But there was nothing wrong with where we stayed. It was just fine. But if I had to choose something, I would have liked to have also gone like more of the Rock of Gibraltar. But also that cable car is down for complete refurbishment.
Yeah.
That takes you to the top, and then you can kind of come down from there. We didn't have like this easy way to get up there.
Right.
And the only other way were these like approved tour operators that were just charging through the nose to be able to do that. So I don't think we could have really done it any other way.
Right.
Next we went to Torremolinos / Malaga. And what was the best thing about that part of our trip?
You know, I think in conception, like when you're thinking about going there, anytime you get to stay on a beach, I think it's going to be the best part of it. And the hotel we stayed at was amazing. I think had the weather been very nice, it would you know, the view itself is just amazing anyways. I'm a beach lover. So I would say just being able to stay and kind of relax a little bit in a beach setting.
Yeah.
The thing I would change, I think we probably I would have taken advantage of going into Malaga. Like I would have gone again instead of just going for the tour. Maybe we, would have been nice to go maybe the day before, just to maybe walk around, because there's that whole shopping area we didn't really look at. There's some like the Picasso stuff we didn't look at. So I think there's a lot more to explore in the city, and it was easy to get to. And I didn't realize that until we went on the food tour, and it was the last day that we were there, and we didn't really take advantage of that. So
we also, we had a preconceived notion of what we were doing in each city, and we didn't really have much for Malaga because we really were going to concentrate that part of the trip on the beach part, which unfortunately we weren't really able to do. But I think it was the best part about it. Torremolinos, Marbella, all of those little beach towns there west of Malaga. You can tell, during high season, it appears that this is where the English and Irish all go to summer.
Definitely the Irish.
Definitely the Irish.
There's an Irish pub every 10 steps.
Yeah. And, you can see, there are just so many setups for beach chairs and everything. So it's thousands and thousands of people that are going there. And it is a beach town, like in the video. It's just kind of generic beach town.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was, you have your stores that are all the same. You have, selling the same things. There wasn't anything spectacular. I think it was when we went we had to go up, we went up that elevator and went into the city square and saw that. That was pretty, it was nice. But yeah.
There's not much I would have changed, because we, again, couldn't change the weather.
Right.
And then we couldn't change our plan because of the weather. We didn't really have a plan B in place because I don't think we felt like we needed to.
Right.
So, to Tavia's point, perhaps we we did have like a down day where we just kind of did nothing. And we obviously needed that. Otherwise, we would have been like, oh, let's go into Malaga. Let's go explore, stuff like that. We would have done that had, I think, we been up to it. But I think we did need sort of a day of nothing, even though we had just kind of gotten there a few days before. But I think we kind of, like the adrenaline had slowed down and we needed a little layabout time. So then from Malaga, Costa del Sol, we headed up to Granada, where we spent 2 nights, right? 1 full day. What was your best thing about Granada, outside of the obvious?
Well, right. It was lived up and exceeded my expectations, right?
She's talking about the Alhambra.
The Alhambra, yes. Yeah. The thing you go to anyways. I appreciated that we didn't have a tour, like prearranged tour of Granada. Like we didn't book a tour guide.
Yeah, no, we booked directly with the Alhambra.
And I think that was great. It gave us like the freedom to wander and to really take our time, and just look at everything. It was, and just to actually be there. I felt like I could actually just be there and not be distracted by other things. But my other part was the thing that I would change is I probably should have, and I don't know why I didn't ahead of time, just download like an audio guide, like a brief audio guide. Nothing that would make me stop, but just to, again, immerse myself into some of the facts about the place. That's just me as a history person wanting to know some more things.
Read a book. But and some places were good about having an audio guide and some places weren't.
Right.
So it was kind of hit or miss there. You really don't know ahead of time whether or not there is or isn't an audio guide. What would you change about Granada?
That's what I was saying. The thing I would change, I probably would have found something before we even left, California, to prepare myself a little better once I got there. Because it's kind of one of those things, like the whole trip in general. Yeah. It was just, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And knowing what I know now, I would have had things already preloaded, knowing we're going to these certain places. Even though I knew that, I didn't. It was just like still in my head, like this fantasy that we were going. So, but that's what I would have changed.
I did give her the black folder.
She did give me a folder.
I did give her the black folder. She had possession of it for at least 4 weeks.
I mean, I knew we were going on this trip for a whole year, so it's not like
she didn't look at it once. I think that's the same for me. The best thing about it was the Alhambra. And the thing that I would change about Granada is that if we could have spent an extra day there, I think that would have been good. And we would have been able to probably go get our nun cookies. We kind of just didn't get to do that. So we just didn't get a day to, I think I would have liked to have explored Granada more.
Right.
And Cordoba, our last stop on our trip. What was the best thing about Cordoba for you?
I think for me, visually, just seeing the iconic, the red and white, the brick of the mesquite, just the whole vibe of it. Again, one of those places you see in pictures or videos, it's like, doesn't live up to when you're actually there. So just the place itself, definitely, but the ride to the place as well, that is where we made our stops in between, right? That was also one of my favorite parts of the trip, was being able to make those stops at the abandoned place in honor of Adam. And just seeing there's great graffiti art, I thought.
It was amazing.
And then that find of La Mota, that was amazing.
I mean,
not even on my radar, not even anywhere. But those are some of the things you can find when you rent a car, and you don't get to see those things if you're just whizzing by on a train.
Yeah.
So I think that was definitely a highlight of the trip as well. And I would also say, I think Cordoba itself as a city, again, I would have liked to have stayed. We'll talk later, but I think that's the only thing that I would change about it. Again, the thing I would change about it, or are you going to ask me that?
No.
Thing I would change, because we learned when we went, we had a tour of the mosque, or the
Mosque Cathedral.
Yeah, Mosque Cathedral. Was that we probably didn't need a tour. It probably would have been almost better if we didn't, because we could have stayed longer looking at things. We could have gotten in free.
Yeah, I
don't know. There's some things
a little iffy about
what you could and couldn't do.
What you couldn't do, because we were given a general admission ticket.
But it wasn't.
But it was a full. I mean, and it was a paid in full general admission. We'll get into that.
Is. But the thing, I think what I would have liked to have changed. In any one of the cities, but maybe that one in particular, would have gone to a mass in one of the cathedrals. Mm-hmm. But it would have been, if it was true what we learned after our tour, if you, supposedly it's free before the mass, and then if you went to the mass, I don't know if you could stay in or not. But I would have liked to have just seen the mass too, just being a part of it.
I would say that, the best thing about Cordoba for me was the drive to Cordoba. That the La Mota, I know it's sacrilege to say, but I think I enjoyed La Mota more than the Alhambra. But they're totally different things. They're totally different eras, but there's something about La Mota that felt exclusive. Because there was nobody there, and it was like €5 to get in, and the things were just left. Like the broken wine vessels in the tavern, where you have the base of the tavern, you still see those original floor designs. There was just that. It was just a little bit more magical to me than the Alhambra. I'm not trying to compare them, but there was just something about the discovery of La Mota that I was just like, oh my God, this is the best ever. And the one thing I would change is the tour we were on. I thought that having a dedicated guide would be a lot more than it was. And I'm not saying that the right way. The guide we had was very knowledgeable. He was an archaeologist working on
everything,
his
right?
Masters.
Yes.
He was very knowledgeable about the architecture of the Mosque Cathedral. And that was great. However, we were not given any time. This is why I don't think, I'm going to follow up with this as a travel advisor, that we weren't given any free time to go and look at the different sacristies, or whatever they're called. I should know this. I don't. We didn't have any time to go look at the different art, and I really would have liked to have a little bit more. And that's coming from me. I'm not a stay in the museum, read all the things kind of person. And even for me, we left this and I kind of felt like I'd like to go look at the things. And we didn't get to do that. There were even areas that we didn't even go.
Right.
that I had noticed. And if you went a little too far, the guide was kind of like, you have to stay with me. It was just a little strange. So I actually would not suggest a tour for the Mosque Cathedral. I would go in on your own. There is an audio tour. I would do it that way. And always remember to bring earbuds with you. Too many people just don't remember that, and people are just like walking around with their phone up to their ear. So that was our somewhat rapid fire best and worst of each town. So for trip highlights of the trip, what would you say if you had to choose one single moment of the entire trip? What was your single favorite moment of your trip to Spain?
That's a real hard question.
I know, it is.
I think the moment, it was in the Alhambra, because we didn't have a tour and you're able to sit. I think I just sat in one of the chairs in one of the rooms, just looking at the beauty of that room.
Yeah, the intricacies.
Yes. And trying just to put yourself in that place at that time.
Yeah. Game of Thrones scenes.
Well, yeah. But just beyond that, like, I think I gave myself a moment just to be in the place where I've always dreamed of being.
I have a TikTok of her sitting in that room.
Oh, great. So, yeah, that, I think for me, giving myself that moment and not being rushed, even though there's all these people there. And I tried to do that everywhere we went, to try and get into the moment of, and not losing, just being able to be present while I was there.
I think that's a really good point. And the event that I kind of choose as my single favorite moment was our last day. And it was the last things we were doing. It was after we had gone to the Mosque Cathedral. And, now you're 12 days in, right? You're comfortable with being there. You're okay with wandering the streets without necessarily knowing where you're going. And so we just had these moments where we were just kind of walking around Córdoba, and we sat and we had a cocktail, and we're looking at these Roman ruins, and it just felt, you're at the end of the trip, and it just felt so calm. We weren't stressed out about anything. We knew we had to go get a train, but we didn't care. And it was just this moment where it was like, this was a really, really good trip. If you had to choose, what was the most spectacular thing you did or saw?
The thing that comes, we've said it so many times, but our ability to drive, to rent that car, to drive, and to go off the beaten path, right? To go to the abandoned place and see that graffiti. That's just something you just don't plan for. You did obviously look that up, but it's unexpected.
So let's talk about that for a second. How did we find these things?
Right.
I have a psychotic way of living. And what I will do is, I knew our route. I knew what our route loosely was going to be between Granada and Córdoba. And what I do is I go into Google Maps, satellite view, and I kind of drive along in the map. And Google Maps does kind of a good job of, having the little landmarks and stuff like that. And that's how I found things, where it was like abandoned factory or this fortress. And that's how I found them. I didn't Google anything. I did.
That's not like you. I don't think you could Google other than on the map.
Yeah, I don't know. And it was like, okay, I don't really know what this is, but it's got a couple pictures. Let's just go check it out, right? And that's how we found them. It wasn't any more complicated than that. But it did take a little bit of like, okay, we're going to have to go to this exit and so on and so forth. But that was the most unexpectedly amazing part to me of that trip was, the graffiti, La Mota. I think that's the winner of the video, frankly. Right. But what would you say, okay, so flip the coin. What would you say it was the most overrated thing from the trip?
See, I didn't really have anything for that.
That's okay. If you didn't think anything was overhyped, that's fine.
For me, no. Because I hyped everything up, I think. So, we already knew what we wanted to do. And I think from videos and things, I would say there's a couple things that are maybe a little overrated. From a travel video I saw, or when researching things and things we thought we wanted to go see.
Okay.
Like in Seville. Okay. Like the lattice work, that
mushroom.
Yeah, the mushroom thing.
Yeah.
From the videos you see, like online, you think this is a huge thing, and it's really not. It's kind of itty bitty, and it's like, I think you knew that in some reason, like you never wanted to go see it, but it looked interesting to me, and so when I went to go see it, I was like underwhelmed.
Yeah.
We saw it, but I saw it at nighttime, and we saw it during the day because that's where we met for the food tour. But it's interesting, but
for me, it was kind of a tie. I think the Giralda Tower, a little overhyped, a little underwhelming. And then, don't hate on me on this one, I thought the Gibraltar runway was a little underwhelming. And I don't know. I don't know if it's just because, like, if you are well-traveled, you've walked on runways. You've walked on runways because of different countries you've been in or whatever. But I know Tavia really loved it. And that's cool. What mattered. So
that's it. You have to walk across the airport, across the runway to get into the city. I think that's pretty cool. Where else are you going to do that? It's not just actually being on the runway. Yes, I've walked on the tarmac to get up into a plane before, but
what would you say, did you have any moments that were extremely funny to you? Did you have any oh my God?
The funniest one, from the very beginning when we were watching that processional and they had to do the pivot. It was funny. To me, that was funny. But, the monkey grabbing you, and that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was funny. But also scary because it was a cashmere.
No. The funniest, I know the funniest. You know the funniest?
I know the funniest.
We were in Torremolinos.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was the last day or the last night. And we're like, what does this button do?
Oh, my
God. Music everywhere. Bathroom. It was so unexpected. It was funny.
That was very funny.
I was like, what's happening? Oh.
It was like rave music.
Yeah. Had we known this from the very beginning, we would have just been doing that. Little
Okay,
dance
that
break.
beats out kind of what I was going to say. But right when you walk into the World War II tunnels and
All right.
and you go like right past the bar, and I'll put it up on the screen. There's this
Questionable.
questionable.
Dramatic. Okay, we get it.
I'm just going to leave the picture there, and that to me was hilarious.
I think there's two things that make that hilarious, right? One, it's just the pose, and that the bar is right there. So I think, I don't know what came first.
I know, it's just funny.
But
It's just
it's just
funny.
like, just makes you go, Okay.
What was your most favorite meal of the trip?
This is tricky too, because like, we didn't have a lot of meals. I feel like we had a lot of
Food experiences
here and there. But the best meal, the best restaurant we went to was the Indian restaurant in Gibraltar.
Little Bay. That's
I
what
thought that
put.
was that was the
That was
best
so
Indian,
good.
and we've had
Since
since Lakewood, Ohio. Yes, but no, that was a fantastic dinner. And my favorite food experience was the food tour in Seville.
Yeah,
Hands down.
definitely.
Hands down.
So yeah, and what I think what both of us did like was the well, probably what we're going to talk about in food and drink is, our the best food and drink discoveries we made. Okay, I know what my best drink discovery was
Yes.
the Tinto de Verano.
Yes.
Oh my God! So if you don't know,
Life-changing.
it is life-changing. But in the south of Spain, most of the wines that are made are red wines. And if you're a wine drinker, drinking red wine in the summer, not great, because you don't chill red wine. So it's just sort of warm. And so to, continue to drink the wines of the region, what they came up with, and I think a lot of people confuse that with sangria, is that it is red wine on ice with lemon Fanta. Done. And sure, it's like a spritz. It's like any other spritz where it like waters it down to like almost like no alcohol content, but so refreshing, so good. I don't really drink red wine anymore. I just don't. And that was great. That was so great. For me, the food, you've got this balada jamon, like.
Now I'm bored.
Yeah, jamon balada, the
Yes,
balada, where you've
balada.
got all these pigs up in the mountains eating acorns, and yes, that was all fine and good. I think the biggest surprise for me was, or the memorable food discovery, and Tavia can back me up here, is that I don't eat a lot of vegetables, but that deep fried eggplant in honey.
Oh, that was delicious.
That was really good. And even that roasted pepper salad was
Yes.
really good.
Yeah.
On that, was that the
Malaga,
Malaga food tour?
Yes.
It was really good. That was what food and drink.
If we're doing drinks, just the little beers, the canya. Just knowing that you don't have to order a whole pint, especially when you're doing tapas. You just order the small beer, the canya, the cana beer. Because if you see I don't know if you mentioned that in the video, but
I believe so.
In some of the tapas places, they have the 1 pint glass, and they have a line, and that's where they would pour the smaller portion of the beer. But as you know, you have people busy. Sometimes that beer is going to go over the line, and so you're paying for a can of beer, but sometimes you're paying for you're going to get a little bit more. You're getting a little more. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to get the whole pint of beer. just get the little beer, which is just fine. Just fine.
So this reminds me that I have to figure out how to get lemon Fanta in the United States.
The best, I think, tapas.
Yeah,
I think tapas just in general is a good idea.
Right, and that works well for you and I.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine
Those breadcrumbs. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, your little crackers. Oh my God.
My little breadsticks.
But like, I think I could just live on just the tapas.
Yeah.
You don't need a whole meal. Like, I can't imagine, because we didn't do a tapas and then go eat a whole meal. We didn't do that. I can't imagine
we were
doing
fine
that.
with that, like, kind of like that tapa hour.
Yeah.
And then that was it for us.
Yeah,
we didn't need to go out at 9 p.m.
No, I don't.
For a big meal.
Yeah, so that's why I say I don't think we ever really did. We never did both, really. I think the only time we might have done a little bit of both was when we did Gibraltar, because we did go to the pub. We had a little something.
Yeah, we just had a little snicky snack there, though.
And then we went to dinner.
Yeah.
But
and we ate all the things.
Oh, yeah, it was really good. But other than that, yeah, I think if we're, I would just eat more tapas. But I liked all the tapas.
What? So you have no idea what anything cost. So this is kind of a hard question. The best value experience that we had. What was the best bang for our buck experience? And it's like, we're going to remove La Mota.
No, I was going to just say in general, just renting the car.
For a week?
But I think overall...
For over a week.
Overall, though, it allowed us to not worry about a schedule per se. Like, I have to get somewhere. We didn't have to worry about a lot of things. We were able to customize what we wanted to go do and see, which allowed us to have those memorable experiences of that drive from Granada to Córdoba. So I think overall, for me, I think that was the most bang for our buck sort of thing.
What would you do differently if you were to go back?
I think overall, I would spend one more day at each place. Yeah. So one more day at each city so that we could do that wandering and eat more tapas.
Right. I mean, and we were boxed in on time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
And I agree. What would you do differently is that there's never enough time, but like those things are beyond most people's control.
I wouldn't, I don't think one more day added to each. I don't know. I guess
I would say, and I think we talk about this, how many days does Andalusia really need? To me, it's 2 full weeks.
Right.
Taking out Gibraltar. 2 full weeks, but not going to Gibraltar.
Right.
That's what I would suggest for that region.
And you can't predict the weather. I think
Well, I don't think they can predict the weather.
So I think, but I do think we went at the right time of the year. I think spring is probably the best time to go.
Definitely.
I know the week after we left is the big spring feria they're having now, especially in Seville. They have another festival going on there. But I think spring, I'm glad we didn't go in the summertime. I think it would have been very hot. The only thing that might have been better then would be the beach, but then there'd be a lot of people there. So I think there's give and take. I think it really, I still would go in the springtime, maybe later spring, but I don't know.
The road trip format, would we do that again, or would we rather fly or take trains between the cities? I think that renting a car was the absolute right decision. Cost-wise, it equaled out. There are some limitations of the train system in the south of Spain that would have made for some really, really long travel days. And having a car allowed us to squeeze a little bit more time in the cities that we were in. So I absolutely would do it again, and I would recommend it to clients to use that as a way of getting around the south of Spain. Now, driving within the towns or the cities is dicey. That's a different conversation for a different time. You do need to be a very confident driver. So Tavia didn't drive.
It wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked well. No. So you have to be a really confident driver.
Yes.
So, Semana Santa, would we avoid it or plan for it? And I think we would plan for it. I think we would plan for it. I don't think I would ever tell anybody to avoid it. Yeah, I don't think I would tell anybody to ever avoid that time.
Not at all. I think, I'm glad that we were at the tail end of it.
Yeah, that every single day.
I don't know if I would plan a trip, unless that is what you want to see. I wouldn't plan the trip for the whole week. I think how it ended up for us was perfect.
Yeah.
Like we stumbled upon it. We happened to see a part of a processional, which was just enough.
It was great.
Like, I don't need to see a whole thing of that. It was perfect. I recommend seeing it if you can, but I don't know.
If I learned anything on this trip, because obviously part of my niche is Europe travel, and I would say that if there was something I learned that, helped me a little bit better, would be transfers. Transfers is, cabs, trains, buses, any of those things, is to have maybe a little bit better education of, the apps that are used, or, something that I'm going to build. What I learned from this trip was to build more public transportation, just that whole
knowledge
on how to do that in different foreign places, because it is easy if you take the time to understand it. And if you have the SNCF Connect app, or if you have the Ireo app, or Cabify, or Free Now, so there's a lot there. And so I think what I took away to help my clients' experience, to help make their experience better, would be to have more education on the different, apps and ways of just getting around.
Yeah, I think we managed just because of your experience, just in general experience, knowing how to move in cities. It is, I think, easier. Public transportation is easier
than it used to be,
because it's really more of just a tap and go kind of thing now. You don't need a special card. You don't need it. You just
exact change.
Yes.
Okay.
I think for sure that I think definitely knowing for sure this was how we were getting from the airport to the train station. This is exactly how you do it, instead of trying to figure it out on the fly.
Yeah. Would you go back? Which city would you return to first?
I wrote something down, but now I'm kind of, I don't know. I think Malaga. I think there was more we could have explored in that city that we didn't get a chance to.
I think we run under a notion that, once we've been to a place, we're not really necessarily going to go back to it until we visit all the other places. But if there is a city I would return to in Spain, it would be Seville. Absolutely. I think that was probably my favorite city out of all of them. What city surprised you the most, if any of them?
I think Córdoba really surprised me the most. I think maybe because it was the last city, I don't know, I got used to maybe the flow, or it seemed to me, I think we got used to just like
being there,
moving about. There was a lot of the patios there. There was the Roman architecture there. So I think that surprised me the most. And I did like, we went to the synagogue there.
Yes.
There were some prizes there that surprised me. I wasn't expecting.
For me, it was Granada. I really wish we would have had more time in Granada. And I didn't think we were gonna go to the Alhambra, we were gonna get out. It was getting towards the end of the trip and running out of time, basically. But it was charming, and that was probably the one. If you were to rate this trip, we've taken a lot of trips together.
Yeah.
If you were to rate this one, trying to think of a one trip we've had, to a 10, what would you rate this trip?
Well, it was a 10 for me.
It was a 10 for me too. I think it was the perfect vacation.
I think, yeah, we've done this a bit, and I think there's enough high points, a lot of activity, a lot of points where we were able to rest and reflect, knowing that that's important to get the most out of your vacation, so you don't feel like you need a vacation after your vacation. I didn't feel that coming back home. Like I felt, I didn't feel like I needed a vacation from my vacation. And it was just someplace I've always wanted to go, and it did live up to everything that I wanted to do. So I thank my travel advisor for that.
Yay. What's one thing you're still thinking about from the trip?
Yeah, I still, I wanted to eat more tapas. I wanted to eat more tapas and drink more beer, always. And and just wish we could have one more day in each.
I know, it's always one more
day in each. Would have been nice.
I'm still thinking of Tinto de Verona.
Yeah. I can get one of those in Nantucket, I wonder.
I don't know. We have to find a lemon Fanta.
I know.
Would you recommend an Andalusian vacation to?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I think there's something for everybody. If you just want a beach vacation,
it's there.
I would 100% recommend it.
And now it's time to go on our next trip, which is coming up relatively soon, and more adventures to be had. If you are looking to do an Europe itinerary, or specifically a Spain itinerary, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to chat. And until next time, love your journey, because it's the only one you've got. Bye, friends.
Bye.